Yo, what's up, everybody? I'm Patrick Reed II, your host, but I go by P, and this is my new podcast, Real Talk, No Excuses. Before we start this episode, I want to give honor and thanks to God, my Lord and Savior, because without Him, I'm nothing. And also, without Him, this podcast wouldn't exist. So I'm going to do an open up with a prayer. Father God, we thank you for today. Lord, be with us today, guide us, and give us the strength that we need. God, we ask you to cover us and keep us safe away from seen and unseen danger. God, we thank you for the creativity that you've been giving us and the ideas and mindsets and flows that flow amongst us. And we ask you, God, to please keep your hands on us at all times. In Jesus' name, amen. Now that we got that taken care of and gave God his glory and honor, now we can get into the show. So with this first episode, I'm going to explain a little bit who I am and what brought me in to start doing this podcast. I'm a child of God. I'm also a father to a beautiful young girl named Heaven. I'm an author, a future director, which I'm going to school now for my bachelor's degree in creative writing. I'm a dog breeder, a cook, and also a jack of many other different trades. But what brought me in to start doing podcasting is I was led by God. I feel like with a lot of things, I didn't know what my purpose or path was, but I love writing and being creative with different topics, subjects, and stuff like that. And like I said, I believe that gift all came from God. So this creativity, I give him all the credit for because this was done to me, especially like with some of my books I write. I don't know how I come up with that stuff. It's not me. It's like I said, I had to give all the credit to God. But he just placed some thoughts in my mind and I just run with it. And I pray before I do these books and different things and we just take off. I feel like it comes a point in time where we all have to trust God in the process of everything we do. I can look at myself and how I was brought up and raised. I was raised in church by my grandparents. They made sure I learned about God earlier, and which I'm kind of glad they did. Because a lot of roads I went down and my teens weren't the best with me. Not at all. Getting caught up in the streets, doing a lot of partying hard, chasing out the women, drugs, all that. It was none but God who saved me and turned my life around. From being in shootouts, car wrecks, late nights, not knowing how I'm going to get home or where I'm even at. It was God who guided me through all this. Chasing after these different women who didn't mean me no good. Some who had bad motives for me. Even find out some was even trying to set me up. It was nothing but God who helped me get through it. And I got to thank him for that. So I give God all the glory and all the honor and all the praise. And I tell anybody, first, find love in God before you can find love in somebody else. If you don't know who God is, find you somebody that you know who does and ask them to help you to learn about God. It's the best decision that you can make. The world can confuse you and lead you down a path where you don't want to go and make it feel like you being left out because you don't have the hottest this, the newest that, you're not living in this big house or you don't have all the designer clothes and you're not going on these trips. All that is cool, fun, dandy and dandy, but you can't take none of that with you when it's time for you to leave this earth. You can't sit around and say, well, I had $7 million in the bank. That's not going to buy you into heaven. You can't say, well, I got to travel the world and I got to see this and that. I got to hit this many shows or I was in these clubs. Ain't none of that going to help you get into heaven if you don't know who God to build that relationship and bond with him. Sometimes these paths that we go down to that we think is all misery and hate, it's just a way for us to find God. That's his way of getting us to draw closer to him. Because the things we lose or don't have, trusting in him, he'll give us way more than we ever thought of or ever even imagined. Sometimes we just have to put down the drugs, the alcohol, or the bad people. Like, we don't notice some people who we think mean us good, they don't mean us no good at all. But God knows everything. He knows the mistakes we're going to do before we even make them. He already placed us in us and gave us forgiveness for them all. But we just have to learn to go to him and get forgiveness and trust him through with everything we decide to do in life. I can keep going on and on about this, but the whole purpose of this message was trust God and let him lead and guide you through whatever you're trying to do in life. But now, let's get to our topic for today. If you was blessed with that big blessing you've been asking for today, do you think you can handle it? I'm going to be honest. Yes and no. I'm going to start with the no first. The reason why I say no because I do have a hard time denying others. And what I mean by that is I know it's going to be some times where I have to tell people no. And sometimes I do struggle with saying no when I know I need to say it. So that'd be the thing I'm working on actually learning how to do. It's been presented to me that there's something in order to get blessed that you do have to say no at times. Not to be mean, to be rude, but it's just something that you have to do because if you pour all of yourself out and become empty, who's going to restore you to be filled back up? So sometimes when you pouring out, you got to have something that's going to fill you back up of the emptiness that you just let go of. So that's where I have to work on myself on when I'm pouring everything I have out, not to run completely empty. Because me becoming completely empty is going to make me drain. And I'm good for nothing if I'm drained and I'll run out. But in the same time, I feel like I am ready because I put the work in. I've been through a lot. And I also know how to be humble with what God's blessing me with. I do feel like I will steward the blessing well. I do feel like I can be very useful in the gifts and blessings that he's blessing me with. So that's one of my areas I do feel like I'm ready for. But I can say this. As people, we all want the blessings and gifts that God has to offer us, but we aren't ready to take the steps God wants to take to receive the blessing. And that right there in itself is hard. Because sometimes that blessing we want, it requires a lot from us to have to change or reevaluate ourselves from what we used to do. It means we might have to cut out from drinking. We might have to cut out smoking. We might have to cut out from having sex before marriage. We might have to cut out from family members that we love or friends or from clubbing. It might be several different things that God might ask us to do before we get that blessing. And in the beginning of it, it seems hard. It seems mind-blowing. It seems like something that, why I gotta do this, because I always thought this person will be here with me, but on the road, we taking the gear. But what I learned is it's a bigger picture to all this. I mean, some stuff Jesus didn't want to do, but it was a purpose behind for what he had to do. Like when he died on the cross for our sins, he didn't want to get up there and die. But he understood there was a purpose behind all that. Same thing with us. We might not want to give up that stuff, but there's a purpose behind all that we don't see now, but it's a purpose behind it. And also learning how to have self-discipline is a major key. There were times where God was leading me to stop drinking where I didn't understand why. Because I come from a family that likes to drink and party and have fun, which is nothing wrong with that at times. You know what I'm saying? As long as you're not overdoing it. But for me in the beginning, it was so hard because we have events and stuff like that. And I was used to drinking and having fun. That's when my self-discipline had to play a big role. Temptation was getting me, I promise you, it was getting so hard for me to tell myself no. At first, I was like, one little drink won't hurt. It's just one drink. But the one drink actually made a difference. The first time I tried to stop, like I said, I took that one drink. One became two. Two became three. The next thing, you know, I'm back drunk. So I had to learn how to stop it. God was showing me like, hey, if you want this blessing, there's something you're going to have to do first. You're going to have to learn how to cut alcohol out and not get tempted. I can say it took me a while to get used to it, but I finally got it. I mean, don't get it wrong, get it twisted. Like I did have slip ups along the way. I mean, it came times where I was dating and dealing with females that still drunk, but I didn't. And I got caught in temptation because I wanted to make them feel comfortable or blend in or stuff like that. But what I didn't see was I was choosing them over God. And he showed me like you can't choose people over me because they can't bless you like I can. And if they wanted to bless you, they couldn't. So after seeing that and hearing him speak to me in that type of language and showing me, I chose him first and completely quit drinking. Same thing like with smoking and even certain people he told me I had to remove myself from. At the time, like I said, well, the few people I understood why. There's a couple people I don't understand, but I got to the point where I just trust him. He showed me. I'll be honest with you, he showed me. But, certain situations where my life was on the line and by me hanging with this set of crowd or this person, where if I was to hang with them, I'd probably be in the same predicament they was in, or in some cases, I could have been dead. But all they came with discernment and praying and having a praying family. So I'll just say this. If God is giving you a sign or having somebody come in your life that's showing you like, hey, try this. This ain't the way for you to go. Doing it ain't gonna lead you nowhere. Listen to him because they might be sent from God and he might be trying to guide you through them to do something better. So go to God and ask him for direction. Ask him to lead you. Ask him to guide you. And ask him to show you the way. And from there, just be obedient and do what he say. I say all that to say this. Just keep God involved. Now let's go to our next subject, which is going to be the ending subject of the day. We're going to do a story time, which is probably going to be a fan favorite where I go back and tell a story, or I had one of our hosts come in and tell a story about a certain topic, a certain subject for the day. So today's story time, I'm going to talk about the time when God blessed me with something that I didn't expect. And it was way more than I asked for. But when I had to go to get it, I didn't expect that part either. So I was in the process of getting ready to graduate from TCAP from my industrial electricity degree. It was getting close to the end, and in order for me to get through with the process, I went through what you call a co-op class. With this co-op class, it was going to give me like experience that I needed to get a factory job, whatever, like that, working in the maintenance man department. So I got the job and it was cool, whatever, but I really wasn't working as a maintenance man. They'll let me do it maybe like once or twice out the week. But they really had me working on the line because the job was short-handed with people. Nobody really wanted to work out there. The pay sucked. It was hot. And it was just like, it wasn't no good setup factory. But it was giving me the experience that I needed. So I was cool with all that. So in the midst of me working this job, I'm thinking, okay, bet I'm about to graduate. I can go full time here as a maintenance man, do this for a year, make good money, and then go from there. But no, God had different plans. Like I said in the beginning, I breed dogs. So during this time, one of my main females, she had came in heat, whatever like this. So I had a little on the way. So I asked the supervisor, like, hey, I need to take a couple of days off, is that cool? Because I got some on the side that's going to come in and make me a lot of money that I need to take care of. Is that fine? Now, this the kicker to the whole story. So, they talked to me about like, we can kind of work that out with you, but we need to know what you're going to do because your terms of school is coming up. Are you going to sign with us? Or are you not going to sign? So I asked him like, hey, sure, what's going to be my pay, and I'm going to get to work maintenance full time, or y'all going to still try to have me doing what I'm doing now. So the supervisor, he kept giving me the runaround like, we can discuss it later. Just, we need to get an answer from you, yes or no. And I was like, well, I got to discuss it first. I got to think about it first before I just give you an answer, Let me talk it over with my people and see if this schedule going to work out. Because, like I said, I got a daughter. I got to see how this going to all play out. I just can't give you an answer first. But I was like, but can I get these couple of days off? And then, that'll help me out too. So the supervisor was like, well, let me look on the schedule because we not used to normally giving people days like that off. So I was like, okay. Now, mark you now, the man who trained me, he was gone for after he trained me, he was gone for about like 2 weeks. Popped back up like no tomorrow. And then he came back. So I was asking him like, how's it on the breaks work out here? He was like, well, it depends on who you are if they want to give you time off and stuff like that. Which I could tell, which he was a different skin color than me as well. But I ain't gonna go on that part of the subject. So they came back to me maybe like a couple days later. But how they did it was they was dodging. They kept on dodging me. They kept on dodging. And I was like, finally, I seen the supervisor. He walked through, and I was like, hey, I need to know if I can get these days off because it's real important what I need to do. So like my dog was gonna have to have the puppies within 2 days. And he was like, what days do you need again? So I explained it to him. So he was like, what do you need these days for? He just kept on going on about it. And I was like, man, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I said, I breed dogs and I got this real big litter on the way. And I was like, it's gonna bring me in a lot of money. And my girlfriend who's gonna help me do this, but I had a girlfriend at the time, who's gonna help me do this, she's not used to breeding dogs. So I need to at least be there the first couple of days to show her what to do while I'm at work. So if something happens, she can kind of handle it. And he was like, I don't know about that. He was like, how much you making off these dogs? So you want to miss it that? I was like, man, I can make anywhere from 2,000 to 3,500 for these dogs. He was like, whoa, that's a lot of money. I said, depending on how many puppies she have, whatever like that. So he was like, I don't know, but what about you giving us a yes or no about doing a job? I was like, this all gonna play hand in hand. I'm just asking you what you gonna do. So he was like, well, I still don't know about the days. So he was like, I'm gonna go talk to Cindy and she'll get right back to you. So next thing I know, he dipped off. Like normally he would have to cross back my path again to tell me, again, like if I got the days off, but he avoided me again. So finally, next thing I know, Cindy, she called to me and she tell me, no, I can't take the days. So I was like, all right, big cool. I left it alone. But they still want me to get them an answer about how I'm going to do if I'm going to sign on with them. But they still ain't gave me no information on what shift I'm going to work. They never told me how much I was going to get paid. They just wanted me to say yes. They didn't tell me if I was going to work maintenance all the way through. They were just like, we don't know yet. So previously, before all this happened, I had went to church one Sunday. And like I said, my girlfriend at the time, she was with me. And I was like, the message my pastor spoke on, he was like, maybe this opportunity that you thinking it's going to be a big opportunity is not. And he kept on going on how he was preaching. He was like, maybe this is your sign to leave their job. And when he said it, it hit me like, maybe this what I'm supposed to do. Maybe this is not my path I'm supposed to be at. Because I slick wasn't happy with it, but I was just doing it for the experience and to get out of school. So, go back to the job thing. So they hit me while she said that. So when she came back then, this time she finally came back and she was like, when she told me, no, I forgot to skip this part. She was like, we really can't let you miss these type of days, but we really need to get an answer from you because what you gonna do? Because we gotta let the school know. And I was like, well, he never told me, or nobody ever came back and told me what shift I'm being on, what hours I'll be working, or my pay. That all play a big part too. Because I was like, I just can't just say, yes, I'm gonna take this job, and I don't know what's going on. She was like, well, most likely we do give you the job. We ain't discussed the pay, but you'll probably be on second shift, and you'll probably be working like the same hours like you're doing now. 12 hours. And she was like, you'll most likely do like you're doing now. We'll probably have you working on the line 5 days out the week, and then one day we'll let you work maintenance, but you have to do that for at least 6 months until we get a maintenance job open. So I was like, in the back of my mind, I said, this sounds like a whole bunch of baloney, because I know you need maintenance because you working on a whole new line and I'm helping them do this. So I know you need the people. You just don't want to put me in that position. So I was like, just let me think about it for the day over with. So she left. She said, okay. And all in the back of my mind is this sermon I heard. And I'm thinking about these dogs I got on the way. And I was like, man, I can't. I don't know if I should be here. So I prayed to myself while I'm sitting there on the line. I was like, if I see that supervisor again, I'm just going to go ahead and quit the job. And I was like, God, if this is supposed to, if it's not for me to be here, give me a sign. I said, if it's for me to quit, let the supervisor walk through here right now, and I'm going to quit. Man, I kid you not, 2 minutes later, that supervisor who been avoiding me all day walked past me. And so when I seen him, I was like, hey, you know what? I talked to Cindy about the job and everything, and I'm gonna just tell you, like, today's gonna be my last day. I'm gonna go ahead and just turn my stuff in and be through. He was like, are you serious? And I was like, yeah. I mean, I prayed about it, and I really don't like how I asked for something, and I said something simple, and you keep telling me now. And I was like, I'm only asking for maybe like 2-3 days tops. And I said the 3 days I'm asking for, really, one of the days I'm not even gonna be here. I don't be here no way on it. So really, it's just to be that Thursday, Friday. I don't have to come in because I go to school, and a Monday. So really 2 days. And he was like, well, if that's what you feel, like, okay. So I quit the job. I ain't gonna talk about some of the stuff I faced with doing it, but I was kind of happy because they had me doing some stuff that kind of put my life in danger that I shouldn't have been doing. So I go to school. I talk to my teacher about it. I tell him, I said, I ain't gonna sign with him. And he was like, well, that's a good choice. He was like, I'm kind of glad he told me he was kind of glad I didn't, but too, because how the experience was going with them out there. So he asked me what I was going to do. And I was like, well, I got my dog situation that was going. I was like, I'm going to just do that right now until I find another maintenance job or something close to it and go from there. I go home, I tell my girlfriend. She's shocked that I done it. And she was like, you sure? And I was like, well, you heard what he said Sunday. And she was like, well, was you sure that was for you, though? And I was like, man, I trust God in this process, so I'm just going to go see how it turned out. Now, like I said, my female dog, we go to have her surgery to see, because she had to have a C-section because she's so big. Bullies, I breed bullies. Well, I was breeding bullies at the time. They don't really do good with having natural birth because sometimes the puppies get stuck. So we go take her to have a C-section, whatever like that. I only think she probably got maybe 4 tops. But when they did it, we left. We had to drop off that morning, paid for the C-section. We came back. She ended up having 7. 6 males, 1 female, which kind of worked in my favor. Now, when got the puppies home, everything went good and everything. Whelped them, did real good whelping them. And it's like, next thing I know, I started posting them. Boom, boom, boom. I had folks hit me up left and right. Like, hey, what's available? What's not available? What's available? What's not available? What you got over there that you trying to get rid of? So I'm like, what females? I was like, I only got 1 female. I'm keeping her. I was like, the rest are males. So, like I said, like hotcakes, they start flying. Boom, boom, boom. I had folks putting in deposit. And so my girl at the time, she was like, I don't know now. She was like, maybe maybe you did do the right thing. So I got down to, I ended up getting scammed out of one of the puppies, which everything again was a lesson from God. He was working on me, showing me some stuff. The other ones, like I said, I got them all real fast. And like the people who I know who close to me in the dog game, kind of, well, two of them, they kind of a little more advanced than I was. They was like, man, how you getting them puppies out so fast? And I was just like, hey, it's just God working in me. I mean, God just helped me do this. I don't know. So in the midst of everything, business is kind of jumping for me on my own. So I cook. Like I said, on the side, I start selling plates. I'm doing all this stuff. So all the money is coming in. It's like hustle money. I'm not expecting it to turn out for me this way like it's turning out, but it is. So I got my dog business is jumping. Me selling plates is jumping. And then I caught a 5 deal like on some chicken wings from like this local grocery store we got around here. So I ended up buying 2 boxes. I'm running out of boxes because, like I said, I'm cooking through these boxes fast. And like the box was like a 40-pound box. About 2 of them. Like I said, they so big. It's like I said, it's taking up my whole freezer. So I'm running through cooking all these wings, doing all this different stuff. And so in the midst of everything, like I said, me and my so-called girlfriend at the time, we got a great bond. We got a great relationship, and ain't nothing wrong with none of that. So God is putting me on. He trying to guide me, get me closer to him. And so, only thing we did have with one problem, she was kind of insecure about some stuff. And I'm the type of person, like, I'm straightforward. I don't sugarcoat nothing. I'm telling her, like, you ain't got nothing to worry about. I'm not on it no more. I don't cheat. I don't lie. None of that. I'm not doing none of that with you. I used to in the past, but I went through a stage where God just showed me, like, that ain't the route. And after I got my feelings hurt and he rebuilt me, that's one thing I stopped doing. I stopped cheating. So with her, I never cheated on her. But she was just always so nervous about it that I would. So we would bump heads from time to time on, and I was like, bro, stop worrying about that. Ain't nothing going on. And what ended up happening was we had a situation where, like, she would go to church with me on a Sunday. She didn't have to work. So this one particular Sunday, I had told her what preacher, you know what I'm saying, what the preacher had talked about. And so I worked the media team at the church that I record everything. And so if she doesn't want to, if she could watch it at home if she want, you know what I'm saying, if she missed it, whatever like that. But just something she didn't really want to go back and rewatch it. So she just asked me what he preached about. So I told her. Now, like, I felt like this message was for her, whatever like this. So she didn't want to take it in, what I had to say and everything at the moment. So, like, a couple nights had went by. I'm in the bed. I'm knocked out asleep. And all of a sudden, I heard God woke me up, and it was like, I heard him clear as day. He was like, that's not your wife. That's not the person you supposed to be with. And when he said it, like, I looked up, I got to looking around, like, did you hear that? Like, she laying right in the bed right beside me. So I tapped her, like, you hear that? She looking at me like I'm crazy. So she go back to sleep. I'm like, oh, here we go. Because I done heard them tell me before, like, this ain't the person I'm supposed to be with. I need to leave this person alone. And like this time, I'm with somebody. Like I said, she ain't perfect, but we got a good bond. We got a good vibe. We done been through a lot together. She done helped me get through some stuff. She done been there for me through some tough times. I done been there for her through some tough times as well. But God telling me I gotta leave her alone. So I prayed about it again. I was like, God, this is what you want me to do. Give me a clear sign. Give me a clear vision. This is what I need to do. 2 days later, what'd he do? He gave me a sign. So I had to break it down to her and told her, you know what I'm saying? That we had to break up, and I told her why, and I was like, it ain't nothing bad. I'm just being obedient to what God's telling me to do and everything. And she was hurt. She was very hurt about it. I was too, deep down inside. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I cried about it. Before and like after we finally broke up, and when she actually was gone, and it hit me that she was gone, it hurt me. And so now I'm in this apartment by myself with just me and my dogs. And then it's like, this is how crazy things work. Next thing I know, boom, I get a letter in the mail saying like I have to move because of pretty much I was getting evicted. Because of we got a new owner of our apartments, and they was like I was behind on some payments, which I knew I kind of was, but I was trying to catch up on at the same time, which I had the money for it. So I was like, okay, boom, how I'm gonna do all this happening? So, like I said, this time, like I told you, I ain't got no job. I'm just going off my hustle. So I was like, I can't keep paying my car note, rent, take care of myself, my little girl, and these dogs off this hustle because I'm making okay money, but it ain't money like a regular 9 to 5. So next thing I know, I talked to my auntie, and I was like, hey, can you help me get on there where you work at? And she was like, yeah, we hiring actually. And so she helped me get a job at her job in Arlington. So I get this job and everything. So I'm like, okay, boom, I catch up my rent now and be good and everything be back to normal. A day later, after I get the job, again, God speak to me. He was like, you about to move. And I was like, about to move? I ain't even got the money to move. I got the money for these dogs, but again, for what I did was I did deposits for my dogs. So a lot of people paid deposits, and then I did a contract where they could sign the money for the contract and just make monthly payments or weekly payments with me on the dogs. And so I ended up selling my dogs for $1,500 for the ones I did have, that I did get rid of. Like I said, I got scammed out of one. And then this one guy, we was going to business. I ended up letting them get one. Cause I was, like I said, it was becoming a hassle trying to feed all of them. And then that dude I bred with, me and him end up selling the puppy together. So I made a little money off that. So then with the other 3, I ended up keeping one for myself. I was really gonna try to keep 2. I ended up keeping one for myself and everything else, which the female wasn't going nowhere, and I had a male. So I'm like, how am I gonna move? And I just got enough money now just to pay the rent here. And I'm trying to see how this gonna look. I gotta go to court and all this type of stuff for it. So I'm like, all right, God, you say I'm gonna move, I'm gonna move. Just whatever it is, just make a way for me to do it. So I'm sitting in my apartment and I'm boxing up stuff. I go ahead and I go get some boxes. I box everything, go up in my apartment, whatever like that. And as I'm sitting there, my ex, like I said, she had a couple of stuff she had left her. She was like, hey, can you bring me such and such and such? So I had left it over there. So I was like, yeah. I went in and told her, I was like, I'm in the process of moving anyway. So I got a U-Haul. I'm going to get a U-Haul. When I go get it, I bring your stuff through there because it was like, it was some heavy stuff, like a fish tank and a little dresser and something else. I forgot what else it is she left. But I ended up taking it to her. So this thing I know, I go back home. I'm sitting like the little furniture I had left, like it was a couch and chair. I'm trying to find people to get it to or sell it to. And so finally I seen this dude, they needed it. And I was like, man, look, you can have it. I don't even want no more. I'm supposed to be moving. And I'm just gonna get all new stuff when I move. So the last day I'm sitting there, if I put my stuff in storage, sitting at the house, whatever like that, because I gotta go to court tomorrow. I go to court, and so I'm like, man, how am just gonna happen? Like, how am I just gonna up and move? Like, God, I gotta move. So I'm sitting on my couch, my phone go off. His dude asked me, he was like, hey, he was like, you still got some dogs left? He was like, bro, I'm trying to get one of them dogs you got. And I was like, yeah, I got a male left over here. And I was like, he really my keeper. I really don't want to sell him. He was like, oh, man, go and send me that dog. Send me that dog, bro. I want that dog. So the man ended up taking a picture. And when he took a picture, he sent it to me. He was holding like $5,000 in cash. He was like, I'm about a dog. I'm about a dog. So I'm like, all right, bet. You can buy the dog. Come get it tomorrow. Then I have everything you need for him. So he was like, all right, bet. The next day come, I ended up going to court. And the folks was like, that I had an option. I can either pay the remaining balance or go ahead and move out. And so as I'm talking to the new people of our house, of our apartment complex, he was like, let me ask you something. He was like, where you work at? And I was like, I actually work in Arlington. He was like, and you drive from Ripley to Arlington every day? And I was like, yeah. He was like, do you like staying? I was like, it's cool. I was like, he said, man, I'm not even gonna lie to you. He was like, you'd be better off getting you somewhere closer to Arlington to where you work at from Ripley. So he was like, if you can just be out by the end of next week, we won't charge you no extra fee from what you owe. Just pay that. And I was like, okay. Now at the time, again, I ain't got nowhere to stay at, but this just gave me another little week, whatever like that, to really 2 weeks for me to get out. So I got all my stuff packed up, whatever like that, and I know I got to get out by the end of next week, whatever like that. I'm thinking dude gonna call me back yesterday saying who told me he wanted the dog gonna call me back, but he didn't call. So now I'm like, oh my gosh, the man done stood me up. I was banking on this money. Soon as I'm sitting on the couch getting stressed out, whatever like that, I get a knock on the door, and the folks I told me gonna have my couch. They at my door, so they come and get the couch and stuff like that. Right as they leave from getting that furniture, my phone go off again. So when it go off this time, it's somebody else. He saying the same thing. He was like, hey, I just seen you on one of your posts on that puppets. He was like, you got anything else available? And I was like, man, I got one dog over here that I will let go. And I was like, he a male. I don't want to sell him. But if you give me $3,000 for him, he yours. He was like, what he look like? So I sent him a picture of the male. Then I sent him a video of it. And he was like, he looked at the video. And 3 minutes later, he was like, I want him. I'm in Ripley right now. Come meet me at such and such and such. So I was like, all right, big cool. I take the dog out the cage. I go clean him up real quick. And I give him a bag of dog food and everything else. And I go around the corner where he is. I take him the dog. He gave me the money on hand. I was like, well, I'm waiting for that paperwork to come back. When the paperwork come back, I bring you your paperwork. Hey, it is what it is. So he was like, man, cool. He said, I trust you and I believe you and I appreciate you. Right then and there. I was like, oh my gosh, this want nobody but God. And so then God had told me start looking at apartments. Now my credit ain't the best. It was rebuilding. Like at the time, I probably had like a 540, 550. Um, because like I said, I really didn't have nothing in my name. My car was in a joint name with me and my ex-wife. At the time, I had the cash, but put down on the car, but she had a full-time job and a better paying job, so we had to put it in her name. So I was just like a co-lender. So like I said again, my credit really wasn't that high jumping. So I get to looking around in apartments, and God was like, "You get 2 no's, and then you gonna hear a yes." So I get out of work one morning, and I go driving around Memphis, different places looking for apartments. And so I seen this one place I really like, whatever like that. Pulled up to it, get to looking around. They gave me a tour and everything. And they was like, it costs this much to do this, that. And I was like, okay, bet cool. I was like, I don't mind paying a little $50 fee to turn everything in. I was like, but my question is, do y'all accept dogs? I was like, cause I do have 2 dogs at home. That's gonna be moving in with me. He was like, yeah, what kind of dogs you got? So I tell him I got bullies, whatever like that. And he was like, bullies? What are those? So I show him a picture, whatever like that. He looked at the picture. He was like, nah, we don't steal those type of dogs here. He was like, those are pit bulls. And I was like, they ain't no pit bulls. They're like more of a English bulldog, Frenchy type dog. They got big heads. I said mine, they at first had the big ears, but I clipped their ears down. So he was like, nah, we don't accept those type of dogs. So I was like, all right, be cool. And I'm leaving there. I go to this other apartment place, and I check it out, and I see it, but I really ain't too fond of it, whatever like this. So I do the same thing. I walk around, I ask some different prices and what it's gonna be for me to move here with my dogs and everything else. Now they do have a weight limit on their dogs, so they was like, "Yeah, we accept dogs. How big are your dogs?" So I tell them, I was like, one of them is a puppy, so she's about like 10 pounds. And I said, the mama, she's probably about a little bit over 35 pounds. She trying to gain her weight back. So then the man was like, no, we don't sell dogs like that. And he said, maybe the puppy, but if it's going to be anything like the mama, once they get that certain size, they going to have to leave as well. Cause they was like, they have a 25-pound weight limit on the dogs that can live over there in their apartment complex. So I was like, well, no, I can't do that then. So I was like, well, thank you. And I end up leaving. So I'm like, dang, bro, there's 2 no's back to back. But then it hit me what I heard God say. You gonna hear 2 no's, and then you gonna hear a yes. So I end up going to this other set of apartment complex I seen. Now these was nice. I liked everything about it. So I asked them, I was like, so far they gave me a tour. I was like, hey, I got 2 dogs, whatever like that. And I explained to them the weight size, what they were, and everything else. And the lady was like, okay, that's fine. It's cool, We have a little dog park over here for the dogs. It's the only thing we require is if you take your dog outside of the dog park, that you clean up afterwards. So I was like, this it? And they was like, yeah. We'll run your background and everything else, and we'll let you know something in a few days if you got it. Now, this place right here, that was music to my ears. And then where it was located, it was surrounded by restaurants and everything was like literally on the same street. Kroger, Walmart, like I said, the gym. I got literally 15 restaurants surrounding me by the front of my apartment and the back of my apartment. If I got hungry and I didn't want to drive, I can literally walk out and walk down the street to get something to eat. That's how convenient everything was. So, like I said, a few days go by and I don't hear nothing from them. So I end up calling. And the lady was like, well, we're still running through the process on yours and everything else. So I was like, okay, be cool. So I ended up staying with my mom for like 2 days, and then I ended up getting me a hotel room for 2 days, which was I wasn't so excited about that at all because I was kind of thumbing through the money that I had made, and I was like, well, if I got to spend all this money to move in, I gotta kind of budget this a little more better. So, but long story short, I ended up getting an apartment, and like I said, I wasn't even supposed to get that apartment. The reason why, because it was a very, very nice apartment where you had to have good credit and everything else to get it. And like I told you, my credit wasn't that good at the time. But it was nobody but God who made a way for me to get it. Not only did he bless me with a job, he blessed me with a home, and he blessed me, and he made a way for me to get new furniture for my new place. All I had to do was trust him, stay obedient, and just do what he said. So if God is telling you to do something that you may not want to do and don't understand why, trust him. He has a plan for you. You may not see it, but he does. So just trust him and do as he say. Now, that's all I have for y'all today, and I hope y'all have a blessed, safe day and be careful out there. Until next time, y'all be easy.